Honorable Adasa. This is a roll call for the agenda stated, Ms. Chair. Hagoshi, so we do have 5 members present here this morning. Although Misosi, and then going on to invocation. Although Shadeja, Honorable Clark, although I showed it to the Zendiki, just Kwagi Sahidle, in Habi Adile. Goshin, so Madam Chair, the Quarter 25th Nomination Council, RDC committee members, and then our legislative staff, our legislative council, our division directors, and then all those listening online. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a prayer this morning. So we will go ahead and pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning to give praise to you for all of the glory and all of the beautiful things that we have in our life. We take time today to remember those that are dear and precious to us, our family members, our children, and our loved ones. We also take time to remember the people of the Navajo Nation and all of the leadership that serve the people. We think about our 3-branch government, the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. And that before us, we have here a presentation on behalf of the department leaders, the division leaders, and all those that work for us. I ask you for guidance for the RDC committee and all of those that work with the RDC to look at the budget, to make sure that we are being effective, as well as looking to promoting more resources for our Navajo Nation. We come together today to give thanks for the food that will be provided today, as well as the planning that lies within this coming year. I ask for a prayer for all of those that are working on behalf of the Navajo Nation, for our children, our veterans, and our elders, and then also for all of our land, the water, and then all living things within Denebikea. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Shadeja Cook citizen, Hapidim, Nipundicate to the Nat, although I'm Chinese in the house Argent, Hago Shaha. Although next item on the agenda, proposed agenda, is recognizing guests and visiting officials. So at this time, I'd like to go ahead and allow members of Resources and Development Committee to introduce themselves, starting with Vice Chair Honorable Johnson.
Okay. Madam Chair Brenda Sue, good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to say good morning to my honorable RDC colleagues of the 25th Navajo Nation Council, and also our guest presenters here today with us. Thank you for being here. Thank you to our legislative staff, legislative advisor, as well as our legislative legal counsel, and also our new on-the-job training consultant. Thank you. So I'd also like to thank the Land Department as well for providing this conference room, as well as the snacks and pastries over there. Shay, my deshki nishna ashkan hazol bashichin hanan ni desh chay tinajin dishnela ego dinishna lebede nasha. So those are my plans. I'm from Cameron, Arizona, and I represent Cameron, Coal Mine, Talani Lake, Bird Springs, and Loop. Those are the chapter communities I represent, and part of the 25th Navajo Nation Council. And it's an honor to be here today. I'm looking forward to a great, productive budget meeting today. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Chair Johnson. And I was just saying, Shauna.
Yeah, Honorable Claude Otto Kodo, Shiaj, Honorable, Danny Simpson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of RDC, guests, staff are here, excellent time. Say Danny Simpson, this is in there. They have not been last year. Ro Tulich English, especially much as not such as no business check. The 8 chapters one I studied. They each read Herpino, Naive, Lake Valley, by Rock, Cindy, Crown Point, and Steve, then that's it, Anna. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, Otto in the Chennai, Honorable, Rignet.
Yeah, the attention on for all Resource Involvement Committee staff, the Washington, one box machine, Hudson, India, then Chair, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. So, is actually, Chair, consider you recognize how much snow is there, touching, but she's changed. So, not that the shade, okay, on it, the Chanel died, and then she has Congo chapters, but not Nishiki. Hey, you had said that on San Juan and Hanzara for Fruit and Vernon, though Newcomb, though you had that 110 chapters, you get the Neban date and the Shinado list. So back to you, Chair. Thank you.
Yeah, Otto, Shinatani, Honorable Naz, Otto in the Kodo Shiaj, Honorable Otto Stowe.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
I was at the delegate's office scanning some paperwork. Been down at the also in Shadow, not Kadina, Toyket, Leaning, Nash as a couple, but Shadow, look at Negash chain. Though, Sina, Jenny, Edashinada, I mentioned 20 next is the 8 vision, and Schnido, Yan 8, Ben additional, though I did Hano Yagi. I've never watched it on Bana, Shikido, economic development, water rights, especially. And Shinada, they have got this photo that is
Yeah, thank you. Otto Shinatani, Honorable Otto Stowe, Otto Kuna Eya, Shea, Brenda, Jesus, and Shiedo, Tanajin, Slot, Torachini, Bashin, Panalani, Dashichedo, Tohana, Dashinale, Akota, Eya, Amado, Masana, Nishlan, Otto Jeho, Sodo, Hate, and Tado, ECR, RJ, Bashbas, Anagoshi Hidini, or Arjanan, Nishin, Dishido, Tadan Hago, Yaha. Resources Development Committee members. We have 1 full week of budget hearings, Kunda Auto in the Shahat Nankitishiro legislative team. So at this point, I'd like to go ahead and allow time to our legislative services staff to introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Tahi.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of RDC, those present, those online. My name is Rodney Tahi. I'm the Legislative Advisor for Resource and Development Committee. I'm Kia'ani Asenchikina, and I'm originally from Steamboat, Arizona. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, Mr. Tahi. Mr. Mose?
Morning, Madam Chair, everyone online, everybody here. Jay Leonard Moses, Chair, was Trinidad, Asha, Asha, Sloan, Hanelani, Bashin, Ashin, Dashin, Shado, Bashin, Thank you.
Yeah. Auto in the Ms. Khan?
Good morning. So, those here who are gathered in the room around the table and seated and joining us, and those many of you on this call. Good morning and welcome. I'm here for any questions you have.
Shah. Although in the Ms. Sophie?
Yes, good morning, Honorable Chair, honorable members, and all the guests here online. Leslie Sophie, Ashihi Nishna, Tohaglini, Basichin, Setna Bessie, Dashiche, Folklani, Dashinali, Setyai Nasha, and I'm here to learn how to do this quickly. So thank you for giving me that time. Oh, not a problem. Everything is a learning process, so no need to be nervous. Madam Chair. Ashley?
Good morning, everyone here in the room. It's good to see everyone, be here. Also, those online, name is Joanne Ashley. the Navajo Nation Water Rights Commission. I'm the chair. I represent Western Agency. Kisani, Good morning again. Thank you.
Auto in the, Miss, Michelle Brown Yazi.
Good morning, my name is Michelle Brown Yazzie, National Membership Team, Good morning.
Auto in the Mr. Skorlunis.
Division of Economic Development, ACE, Initiative, Consolidated, or not stopping, no, or putting the mention, or the way, those such things, if I can, to be honest, Nikki, those, let it know, on this, they hope, in that way, you know, I think that we can,
Auto, Mr. Castillo.
Thank you, Madam Chair, so, RDC members, good morning. My name is Calvin Castillo, and folks online, I'm the Executive Director for Community Development. These are my shades, and this is on my nose, and I just live a mile or two down.
Autoing that just, thank you staff that are, other staff members that are in the call. Autoing listeners on the call, thank you for being on the call and support for your division directors that will be presenting here today. Going on to item 3, reviewing and approving the agenda. So if I could have the associate read the proposed agenda into the record.
Good morning, Madam Chair and honorable members of RDC. This is today's agenda reading into the record. Resources and Development Committee of the 25th Navajo Nation Council, special meeting August 7th through 11th, 2023, 9 a.m. Presiding Honorable Brenda Jesus, Chairperson, Honorable Casey Allen Johnson, Vice Chairperson. Location, Navajo Nation Land Department via telecommunications. Number 1, call meeting to order. Roll call, invocation. Number 2, recognizing guests and visiting officials. Number 3, reviewing and approving the agenda. Number 4, new business. A, report of Navajo Nation Water Rights Commission on the Comprehensive Fund Management Plan for Water Rights Claim Fund, executive session. 4B, legislative number 0164-23, an action relating to the Resources and Development Committee approving and recommending to the Budget and Finance Committee the fiscal year 2024 budget for the Division of Economic Development and related matters to be included in the Navajo Nation's fiscal year 2024 comprehensive budget. 4C, legislation number 0165-23, an action relating to the Resource and Development Committee approving and recommending the Budget and Finance Committee the fiscal year 2024 budget for the Division of Community Development and related matters to be included in the Navajo Nation's fiscal year 2024 comprehensive budget. 4D, legislation number 016623, an action relating to the Resources and Development Committee approving and recommending the Budget and Finance Committee the fiscal 2024 budget for the Navajo Gaming Regulatory Office and related matters to be included in the Navajo Nation's fiscal year 2024 comprehensive budget. Number 4E, legislative number 0167-23, an action relating to the Resource and Development Committee approving and recommending to the Budget and Finance Committee the fiscal year 2024 budget for the Navajo Environmental Protection Agency and related matters to be included in the Navajo Nation's fiscal year 2024 comprehensive budget. Will be ready for action starting August 8, 2023. 4F, legislation number 0168-23, an action relating to the Resource and Development Committee approving and recommending to the Budget and the Finance Committee the fiscal year 2024 budget for the Division of Natural Resources and related matters to be included in the Navajo Nation's fiscal year 2024 comprehensive budget. Will be ready for action starting August 8, 2023. 4G, Legislative numbers 0174-23, an action relating to the Resources and Development Committee approving and recommending the Budget and Finance Committee the fiscal year 2024 budget for the Division of Transportation and related matters to be included in the Navajo Nation's fiscal 2024 comprehensive budget will be ready for the action starting August 8, 2023. Number 5, close the meeting, announcements, and adjournment. This is a reading and record of the agenda, proposed agenda for August 7th, 2023.
Members of Resources and Development Committee, may I get a motion to accept the agenda read to us? Vice Chair Johnson, do I have a second?
Second.
Honorable Claw, thank you. And with that, members of Resources and Development Committee, do we have any additions or deletions on the agenda here that is, before us? Going once, going twice. Ms. Sosi, can you please take a roll call vote?
Madam Chair of RTC, this roll call vote for the, approving of the agenda. Roll call for, Honorable Claw.
I vote green.
Honorable Vice Chair Johnson.
Vice Chair Johnson, votes green.
Roll call vote for, Honorable Simpson.
Green.
Honorable, Ness.
Delegate Rick Nez votes green.
Honorable Addison.
I vote green.
Madam Chair, that's, the 4, in favor, 5 in favor, 0 opposed, and non-voting for Madam Chair.
So with that, members of RDC, motion carries, and we do have an approved agenda for, this week, for Resources and Development Committee. So, going forward to item number 4, new business on the agenda, letter A, report by the Navajo Nation Water Rights Commission on the Comprehensive Fund Management Plan for a Water Rights Claim Fund, which calls for an executive session. And we do have presenters, Madam Chair Ashley, and also legal counsel from Navajo Nation Water Management Department with Department of Justice. So with that, members of Resources and Development Committee, may I, number 1, we have to go into executive session for this budget overview from Water Resources Commission and DOJ. So with that, I'd like to request just how much time are we looking at for executive session?
This question is still 30 minutes?
30 minutes?
Yeah.
Ashby, members of Resources and Development Committee, 30 minutes for, Rodney?
Madam Chair, I would recommend an hour for this executive session due to the questions that the committee members might pose, as only Delegate Rick Nez is a returning member of RDC, and we have 5 new members present.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and, take Mr. Tahi's recommendation. Since we do have 5 new members to Resources and Development Committee, I will allot, an hour. Honorable Nez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to make that motion that we go into executive session for 1 hour. From the time that you say we're gonna start, we'll go 1 hour, Madam Chair. And if the Water Rights Commissioners, as well as Department of Justice, would like to identify who the agents will be to stay here, let them stay, and everybody can go outside and come back within an hour.
Squishy? So with that, Madam Chair Ashley or Ms. Yazi, you're gonna have, stay here with your budget presentation.
Ms. Mitchell?
Ms. Mitchell? Okay.
And Ms. Johnson, Charlene Johnson.
Okay, Ms. Johnson and Ms. Mitchell will stay in the room. So with that, members of the Resources and Development Committee, we do have a motion by Honorable Rick Nez to have Ms. Mitchell, Ms. Johnson, Ms. Yazi, and Madam Chair Ashley to be present for the executive session for Water Rights Commission Comprehensive Fund Management Plan executive session. So may I get a second? And this is going to be for an hour, 60 minutes. So may I get a second?
I'll second.
Honorable Claw, thank you. So with that, colleagues are shown that, we're gonna go ahead and go into executive session. So if we could just have,
Madam Chair?
yeah.
We vote for the second.
Okay, we need to take it to a roll call vote, so Ms. Sosi.
Madam Chair and RDC, Honorable RDC, a roll call vote for the executive session. Roll call vote for Honorable Claw.
I vote green.
Honorable vote for Vice Chair Johnson.
Vice Chair Casey Johnson votes green.
Honorable, Nez.
Delegate Rick Nez, votes green.
Honorable Delegate Simpson.
Agree.
Honorable Delegate So. Honorable Delegate So. Madam Chair, that leaves the vote in favor of, five in favor, 0 opposed, and 1 chair non-voting.
Squishy? Okay, so with that, motion carries into executive session. So, we will be, going to executive session for 1 hour, Division of, Economic Development, so, so we will go into executive session at 9:34 a.m.
To 10:34.
to 10:34. Yes, thank you, All right. Thank you again, members of Resources and Development Committee. We are out of executive session, so if I'd like to go ahead and get a motion.
Motion by Delegate Ricknez that we get out of executive session.
Honorable Ricknez made a motion to exit out of executive session at 11:04 a.m. And may I get a second? Honorable Otto So. Otto, with that, I'd like to go ahead and call for a roll call.
Madam Chair, my motion is I would like to also say that the committee chair at his or her discretion may increase the time period for the initial presentation of the legislation. We did go over the executive session time, so that will be noted for the record. Thank you.
Honorable Nez for making that statement and noted per the meeting. So again, with the 2024 budget program budget procedures, it is noted that it is up to the committee chair to further, or increase presentation time for the divisions or individuals that will be making their presentation here before RDC. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and get a roll call vote. Get out for the executive session.
Madam Chair of RDC, roll call vote for exiting executive session and increased time noted. Calling vote for Honorable Shawna Cox.
I vote green.
Honorable Vice Chair Casey Allen Johnston.
Vice Chair Casey Johnson votes green.
Honorable Ricky Nez.
Delegate Ricknez votes green.
Honorable Denny Simpson.
Green.
Honorable Otto So.
Green.
That leaves in favor of 5, opposing 0, and non-voting chair.
So with that, I'd like to go ahead and request for a motion main motion to accept the report by Navajo Nation Water Rights Commission on the Comprehensive Fund Management Plan. So members, if I can get a motion to accept the report. Honorable Otto So, may I get a second?
Second, Shawna Clark.
And with that, members of Resources and Development Committee, I'd like to go ahead and request for a roll call vote.
Madam Chair.
Honorable Otto So.
So, if we vote on this, and this is what discussion we had, we vote on it, we approve it, and the recommendation made, are those recommendations going to be brought back to the committee to what was presented, or are we just going to move forward with it the way it is?
Honorable Otto So. So there were recommendations that were made, and I believe that in the discussion there was some period or timeline that was allotted, and we need to stay with the timeline. Although in regards to the Form 2, Ms. Khan, how would we have to go about that since Office of Management and Budget wasn't on the call to give us that report?
Office of Management and Budget, I do not understand why Office of Management and Budget is not available right now, and I cannot answer for that. However, the Water Rights Commission is in a special situation that's different than the other divisions. The Resources and Development Committee does not make a recommendation to the Budget and Finance Committee with regard to the budget that was presented in executive session. It is if the recommendations that I heard in executive session could be presented to Budget and Finance Committee in a discussion when Budget and Finance Committee goes into executive session on the same topic. and Budget and Finance Committee also does not receive a legislation to approve with regard to the Water Rights Claim Fund. They are in a similar situation as the Resources and Development Committee is. I heard two recommendations, and I did not hear, of course, the committee did not receive a report from OMB. With regard to the report, you could go ahead and accept the report that you heard, but also could request that the Office of Management and Budget comment, add them to the agenda through an amendment to come in further discussion to present in executive session on this topic. When they are available, you have the rest of this week. I'm sure the other committees would want the same information. It's not unreasonable to request that.
Yeah, Mr. Tahi?
Madam Chair, members of RDC, to expand on what Ms. Khan indicated, we're not the only committee that will hear this report. As Ms. Khan indicated, Budget and Finance Committee will have to hear this report too, and it will be an executive session. We'll also have to go to an update committee. During that time, RDC and BNF can make that recommendation to have OMB present. Specifically, maybe the executive director, Mr. Dominic Leal, to provide that report. Since it has to be an executive session, so that way the director is there, and to make that report to the committee as a whole, as I'm sure your colleagues would be interested in knowing these numbers as well. Madam Chair, members of RDC, that's my recommendation.
Yeah, so with the recommendation that was made here by Ms. Khan and also Mr. Tahi, I'm going to go ahead and allow Honorable Otto So, with your question in regards to the OMB Form 2 issue, to just have the overall, so this is going to be heard at NABI, right? Okay, until we get to NABI to have all of the members of the 25th Nomination Council to go ahead and hear from OMB audit. Honorable Ness?
Thank you, Madam Chair, honorable members of the Resource and Development Committee. Madam Chair, since you're the chair, you're going to be the sponsor of these legislations. We are the ones that could be the co-sponsors and here to support programs underneath us. You could be the ones to make that recommendation to Budget and Finance as well as Namagiete. And with the concurrence of RDC.
Okay. Yeah. Honorable Otto So.
The reason why I raised that question is that I don't see follow-up on the new process. Usually there's a follow-up when the committee makes a recommendation to the program to, talk about maybe structuring the money internally. And that way, they do that, then they come back to the committee. And usually, on the last year, on previous budget years, that's what happened. We had a follow-up, meaning that the program came back to the committee with the changes. And that's when we would get see the changes, and then at the end of the week would be the committee meeting, and everything that was the changes would reflect at the committee meeting, and that's what I'm getting to. And my issue is, we made the recommendation, and we're going to approve it, but we haven't seen it. When it gets to Budget and Finance Committee, and when there's this recommendation, we haven't seen the product of them changing the line items, the things that say. Budget and Finance Committee is going to say what the RDC do. And over there, if we say, oh, we want you to do it, RDC may say that you were supposed to do it, and hit the phone me. share all in, as a recommendation, we haven't voted on it, but, if we can table this, I recommend to table this report and allow them to make the changes that we have, the discussion to reflect these discussions and then approve that one. That way, on record, when it gets to Budget Finance Committee, they won't see what it is, because what I'm scared of is that we're just gonna approve what has been presented without the recommendation. So, AJ, with that, that's my thought, and, but if we just move forward with it, that's fine too. Thank you.
Before I yield the floor over to Honorable Simpson, this is a special condition, this is speeded, and this is treated very special with Water Rights Commission, because it's stipulated in, resolutions or legislations that was dropped from prior council, 2002, 2005. Ako, ito, legislation like, the other divisions, bedati, ito, bedati, ako, benago, bendade, so I recommend that idea, and, but the question here is, yes, the Form 2, which we can definitely get those, clarification when, it goes either for the consensus of Resources and Development Committee, later Nabi, then we can definitely, request, an OB definitely has to be there to, be able to provide us those numbers on their, performance rating for the fiscal year of 2023. Honorable Simpson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of RDC, Mr. Cato, good morning. Madam Chair, the recommendations that were made in the executive session, something that has to be in writing, but it's confidential, yeah. So, I still think our attorney, also the council, can draft up what was discussed in our executive session, and what the recommendations that were made to be put on there and be submitted to our colleagues, especially with Budget and Finance, and signed by the chair and vice chair. And with the vote that was taken, we got our executive session under reporting. It can be done that way, and I do concur with my colleague here, Kelly. So we have to send some type of information to our colleagues, Budget and Finance and DFT, writing. Could I ought to take, since we don't have this in form of legislation, but could I ought to take. So I know it's just different, something that we learn from it. So when I'd like to make a recommendation, we do remember what was recommended through that. That's just a recommendation. These exceptions, thank you, Madam Chair, members of RDC.
Honorable Simpson, Honorable Ricknett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Honorable Otto mentioned tabling this, and under number 12, it talks to the committee will table the legislation to give the program time to revise its detailed budgets and prepare pretty much documents. But this is a report. So to our legal counsel, Ms. Khan, it says here, OMB shall present a simple budget summary. That's the concern. So could we withdraw our motions to accept the report, and after the Division of Economic Development, we can come back to item A after we have OMB here to present?
Ms. Khan?
Madam Chair, members of the committee, the standing committee rules do not address withdrawing a motion that's already been made and a second that's already been made. There is no place in the standing rules with regard to that. And that's what I would recommend not, there's, as I said, there's no language with regard to withdrawing the first and the second, and a vote, for that matter. The fact that the office, that OMB has not been here to participate, and request has been made, any update on the request, that would take care of it, just, if they would, appear with, but, withdrawing first and second has been done in the past. But I'm just letting you know that there is no provision stated within the standing committee rules with regard to, withdrawing a first and a second. It is a concern that OMB has not presented their financial information on the commission and the fund, with regard to the fund. I had suggested earlier that the report be accepted, but also to schedule OMB for that specific reason throughout this, sometime during this week. You have those options. You can go ahead and accept the, withdrawing the first and second. Like I said, it's not in the rules with regard to that. Or you can go ahead and accept the report and then also schedule a specific report in executive session from OMB on regarding the information that they are privy to and hopefully would have presented during the executive session.
Mr. Tahi.
Madam Chair, members of RDC, OMB did reply, they're ready. However, I just want to make this brief note, and Ms. Khan will probably be the one that provides legal guidance on this. According to the resolution, which I emailed out to everyone, it's also in the calendar invite, pursuant to BSJY-38-05, and this is what it says in Section 5, any and all detailed information contained in budget or expenditure reports of the Water Rights Planning Fund shall be deemed to be confidential and subject to the attorney-client privilege. So Budget Form 2, from my understanding, from reading this, is deemed confidential, so we cannot have that out into the public again. In addition to that, it goes on to further read, only the Attorney General is authorized to waive the confidentiality and the attorney-client privilege communication. Madam AG was sent this information. She was sent the calendar invite for this executive session as well. So I'm not sure if she's busy or if she's seeing someone else to come in her place, but this information was sent out. This information was shared with you guys on the calendar invite as well.
Thank you for that clarification, Mr. Tahi and Ms. Khan. I'll go ahead and allow Honorable So,
since we have not got a response, well, we got a response that OMB is finally ready, but OMB on the rule that indicates shall, they're supposed to use their portion to read the document into the record. And the other is that the budget that was, or whatever, the information that was brought to us, the recommendation on the other budget process, we had a chance, council or oversight committee had a chance to bring them back as a review or a callback, fix the numbers, make adjustments. But it sounds like OMB is not ready. I don't know where they're at. And then the Department of Justice, I would just recommend that you just follow the appeal and whatever budget you brought, whatever information you brought, just do and approve it like that without any of the recommendations, because that's what the budget hearings are about. Where are the numbers, monies are needed? This is not only you guys, all the programs. And there's no mechanism to bring the program back to say, fix this. fix this, and they can come back and we'll review it. And that's what I'm getting to. Right now, with the stipulations that is in place, I just recommend that, that budget, you just have to swallow the pill on it, and probably just have to go with other ways to, special funds. So
Honorable,
we just move forward to approve it. Thank you.
so Honorable Otto Silvaigi and also members of Resources. So this legislation was approved by RDC last week, Oversight Committee Special Budget Meetings Procedures, FY 2024 budget, program budget. Number 6 reads, after a budget legislation. Legislation is the word. This is a report. Is motion, OMB shall present a simple budget summary for each program budget before the sponsor of the legislation starts their presentation. A staff member of OMB shall be available at each committee budget meeting, either virtually or in person, to answer relevant questions and to clarify issues regarding the discussion. Auto number 12 on this same procedure that RDC approved last week, it says, if amendments are to be made to a program's budget, the committee will table the legislation to give the program time to revise its detailed budget and prepare the fill-in exhibit B and C. When program returns to the committee with its revised detailed budget and its completed exhibits B and C, if additional amendments or corrections are needed, the committee will go into a recess to allow the program time to make the budget corrections in order to avoid tabling the legislation twice and permanently eliminating the legislation for the committee's agenda. So these are the new procedures, Shanatani. So just exactly what you said, it clarifies it in here for us, okay? So, since this is the report, and with the recommendation that was made by Ms. Khan, and also the more in-depth, stipulation of Budget and Finance Committee legislation BSJY-38-35, indicates the confidentiality of the information for the Water Commission. I'd like to go ahead and take also Shiaj Honorable Simpson's recommendation, and Ms. Khan, if you can assist us with this, is to put in writing to be signed by myself and Vice Chair here, Honorable Johnson, with the recommendations that were made, Shonda, and so that we know what have to be with Water Rights Commission. Would that be acceptable?
Madam Chair, that is something that can be done, but there's no voting on this particular memo. I will
Right.
give to you for your signature.
And Vice
And
Chair.
Vice Chair's signature.
The memo that I'm recommending, it does have the votes, we're saying this is what came out of the executive session. And this confidential information,
Mm-hmm.
but we voted on it to accept the report.
Yeah,
And those numbers can be used to quote recommend in the executive
Right.
order. So it doesn't have to say that this memo was voted on, no, it's just what came out of the executive session.
yeah. Ogoshi. So again, with the voting towards the report that was given, the recommendation is just gonna be stipulated in writing that will be signed by, Vice Chair and myself, and that would be just, a internal, agreement that we had as Resources and Development Committee. And that's just the understanding that what we agree upon as RDC going forward. Honorable Otto.
So, this is a report. Who has the legislation? And as oversight of the water, of the unit there, as oversight. Just like this legislation right here, 0164-23, even though it is, this is in the 135-day comment period, but where's their legislation? And that is my question, because right now, following the process of introducing legislation, we're in a report, I understand that, but community development, CED is gonna present based off of what finder they give us, the same way that the group came to us. But my question is, where's their legislation then?
It's the existing legislation.
And then what I'm getting to is that, where the oversight, the legislation starts from the oversight committee. That's what I'm getting to. Because if it's not, because what I'm getting to is, CMS is not your oversight. RDC is your oversight, that's what I'm getting to.
Honorable Otto,
So,
I'm gonna have Ms. Khan read that, legislation CMY-47-02. I'll yield, Honorable Otto, I'm gonna yield the floor over to legal counsel.
Madam Chair, I do not have a copy of that legislation. I have reference to it. Ms. Quinn, do you have a copy of the, Council Resolution 05 resolution? I happen to have handy. Essentially, that the legislation which the Navajo Nation Council enacted in 2005 set up the parameters for this particular fund. It is a very special fund, and within that 2005 legislation, it said how much money would be allocated for this fund each year, and that there would be only reports. There will be no, because of the nature of that, of the expenditure of that fund. So it is akin to a set aside for each year for this particular fund. And, I unfortunately don't have a copy of the particular, but that has always been, from my time here with Resources and Development Committee and the other standing committees, is a report is given. The money is going to be allocated. And it is, I will locate the resolution that established that fund and then send it to you by email. Yeah, but there is no, it is to be given as a report.
I will yield the floor over to, Honorable Simpson.
no, I'm good.
Okay, you're gonna withdraw. So, Shanat Ani,
Yeah.
And again, Binyahat Nini Kishi Eya, Lede, Nahasahi Hoya, Eda East, Bazo Kwaige Benat, Hajoti, Swandadot, Nikishi Abbas, even not. The Nagoshin Data, I cannot Ania, Kota, Dina, Tosbina, Ahi, the Kokwagi, own Haba, and so I'm gonna go ahead and yield the floor back over to you, Honorable Otto.
So that's where I was trying to go. This is the report. This report, any recommendation cannot be taken, because their legislation is going to come until all the budget hearings completed and until the main comprehensive budget is dropped, because that will list all the money taken off the top. So we're talking about a report that doesn't have legislation. Their report that they gave us is finally going to be put in the future legislation. That's what I'm getting to. Alcohol, even notch, and right now, these recommendations, they can take it lightly or not. They can take it yay or nay. But if they leave it, and this is what it is, and that legislation, CY 4702, that's the creation and enabling legislation of it, that creates that process. What I was getting to is that this year, FY 2024, their numbers is not going to be included until the main comprehensive budget is dropped, and That's probably gonna be dropped until sometime in September. Thank you.
Question, tonight, before I give it to you, Honorable Danny Simpson.
Very quick, I apologize, my colleague, Delegate Nez, quick. We're in a unique state here of how we address the litigation fund for water rights and all that funding needs. And we have to come to a way to convey what we recommended in executive session, do that. And let's face it, about Hernandez brother, that's public record. It's public. That's why we don't do it in the station. So anything that we recommended, hopefully what you stated is not taken lightly from the presenters. Respect to what was recommended by my colleagues here. By letter, we convey that information to Budget and Finance and the EFT, that memo. That's what we're trying to state. Now, to me, we're finding ways to make sure that information or the recommendations that were made is conveyed. That's what we're trying to do right now. And not have the presenter take it lightly, but still take it as a legislation being passed. It's very unique and funny. Scott, information that Delegate Nez brought up. The only thing I'm trying to do is communicate this information what we recommended to our colleagues. And to me, I think the DOJ, the Water Commission, in respect, will not take our recommendation lightly. So again, the final one, this will be part of the whole comprehensive budget when it goes before the council. So I think a lot of things that came out from our recommendation is going to help the Water Rights Commission, the DOJ, to continue to advocate that we get advocate for our water rights. And the experts. Madam Chair, thank you.
Yeah, tonight, Honorable Nez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Due to the very paramount, sensitive nature of this shenanigans, as a committee, we listened and we just approved. With the document that's being requested, perhaps just stamp it with confidential so nobody gets it. DCMY 4702, Ms. Connie.
This is, I will read the quote from the Comprehensive Fund Management Plan. And the management plan references the authority of the, that comes with the commission establishment. It says, in light of the unique power to allocate provided by the council, the committees are limited to a review of the anticipated budgets. The committees do not have the authority to approve, disapprove, or take any action on the anticipated detailed budgets. The confidential nature of these budgets will be maintained as set forth in Section 4 of this plan.
Yeah, so, Kunden Leneki, Jagatis Ayi, Haegi, Abayas the action on Anino Senegi, Rodi, editing, Hala Aya, I behas Ani Behatia, Nedata, Ado a recommendation, Ecuador, Honorable Nezia House Nagi, keeping it in a confidential, status quo of ayat. She been not unequal and she this days has been quite big issue. She has your big kitty, Talo Kodo, she voted that the Lito Anki a young husband, she or to accept the report by Water Rights Commission. So, Ms. Dorsey, you can take the roll call vote.
Madam Chair.
Honorable Nez?
Before we vote, Madam Chair, Kodoya, Resource and Development Chair, when this comes before Budget and Finance and what was read into the record here a while ago. So, thank you.
And I sure will share adoption Honorable Nez, and I definitely will share that, and it is noted.
Madam Chair and honorable members of the RDC, roll call vote for the report by Navajo Nation Water Rights Commission in an executive session. Calling for vote for Honorable Shauna Kloss. I vote for me. I'm calling vote for Honorable, Vice Chair Casey Allen Johnson.
Vice Chair Casey Johnson votes green.
Calling vote from Honorable Ricky Nez.
Delegate Rick Nez votes green.
Calling vote from, Honorable Danny Simpson. Calling vote from Honorable Danny Simpson. Calling vote from Honorable Otto So.
Green.
That leaves 4 in favor and calling vote from Honorable Danny Simpson.
Green.
That leaves a favor of 5, opposing 0, and non-voting 1 for the chair.
Invocation. Sheha. Sheha, Ms. Ashley and Ms. Yazi, and to your team as well. And we should, be looking forward to seeing you at Budget and Finance Committee, item number 4, new business, letter B, legislation number 0164-23. If I could have, Mr. Tahi read the legislation into the record.
Madam Chair, members of RDC have legislation number tracking 0164-23, date August 1st of 2023, titled the Resolution and Action Relating to Resource and Development Committee, approving and recommending to the Budget and Finance Committee the fiscal year 2024 budget for the Division of Economic Development and related matters, and to include in the Navajo Nation's FY 2024 comprehensive budget. The purpose of this resolution, if approved, will provide and recommend it to the Budget and Finance Committee the proposed fiscal year 2024 budget for the Navajo Nation Division of Economic Development. Madam Chair, hold on one moment. Resource and Development Committee has final authority of this resolution. And the primary sponsor of this resolution is Honorable Brenda Jesus, co-sponsor Honorable Shauna Ann Kloss, for tracking number 0164-23, an action relating to Resource and Development Committee, approving and recommending to the Budget and Finance Committee the fiscal year 2024 budget for the Division of Economic Development and related matters to be included in the Navajo Nation's FY 2024 comprehensive budget. Be enacted, Section 1, Authority. A, the Resource and Development Committee is a standing committee of the Navajo Nation Council with oversight authority over the Navajo Nation Division of Economic Development. 2, NNC Section 500A, 2 NNC Section 501C1. B, the Resource Development Committee shall review and make recommendations regarding the program under its oversight responsibility regarding the Navajo Nation's comprehensive budget for the upcoming fiscal year 2021 in 12 NNC Section 840A. Section 2 findings. Oversight Committee recommendations shall not exceed the base planning amount established in the FY 2024 budget instruction manual. 12 NNC Section 840A. The base planning amounts are established by the Budget and Finance Committee in the FY 2024 budget instruction manual through resolution number BFJY-15-23. B, the Resource and Development Committee held public budget meetings and heard reports from program staff and the Office of Management and Budget regarding the proposed FY 2024 budget for the Division of Economic Development. 12 NNC Section 840A. C, the Resource and Development Committee reviewed and considered the proposed FY 2024 budget for the Division of Economic Development as compared to the base planning amount established in the FY 2024 budget instruction manual and as recommended by the Office of Management and Budget. D, the Resource and Development Committee finds that the approval of the proposed FY 2024 budget for the Division of Economic Development and inclusion of such budget in the Navajo Nation's FY 24 comprehensive budget is in the best interest of the Navajo Nation. Section 3, approve and recommending to the Budget and Finance Committee the fiscal year 2024 budget for the Division of Economic Development and related matters. A, the Resource and Development Committee hereby approves that the FY 2024 budget for Division of Economic Development as detailed in the, quote, fund type budget summary, unquote, hereto is attached as Exhibit A. B, the Resource and Development Committee hereby approves certain provisions as to the branch chief proposal FY 2024 budget amount for the Division of Economic Development as shown in columns D and E in the general fund comparative summary attached hereto as Exhibit B. C, the Resource Development Committee recommends the changes to the general fund budget described in Exhibit C. E, the Resource and Development Committee recommends certain conditions of appropriation legislative concerns as attached in Exhibit D. E, the Resource and Development Committee recommends that certain unmet needs for the Division of Economic Development be included in the FY 2024 comprehensive budget as explained in Exhibit E. F, the Resource and Development Committee recommends that the Budget and Finance Committee approves in the Division of Economic Development FY 2024 budget and all committee recommendations as set forth in Exhibit A through E. G, the Resource and Development Committee hereby authorizes the chairwoman and the vice chairman to negotiate with the Budget and Finance Committee on these recommendations. Section 4, effective date. This action shall become effective as provided in NC Section 189A. Attaches Exhibit A, which is an application fund type budget summary. Attaches Exhibit B, which is an application general fund comprehensive summary. Attaches Exhibit C, which is an application recommended change to the general fund budget. Attaches Exhibit D, which is an application recommended conditions of appropriations and legislative concerns. Attaches Exhibit E, which is an application recommended unmet needs budget. Then you go through the 5-day comment period. Beginning of the first report of the nomination legislative branch legislation for legislation number 104-23, sponsors Honorable Brenda Jesus. This legislation was posted on August 1st, 2023 at 7:10 p.m. The 5-day comment period ended August 6, 2023. There was no comments supporting this legislation, no comments opposing this legislation, no comments or recommendation on this legislation. Madam Chair, members of RDC, that is legislation number 0164-23 read into the record in its entirety. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Tahi.
Thank you, Mr. Tahi. Do we have anyone from OMB? I'm on a call right now, they just put me on hold.
Madam Chair, members of RDC, is anyone from OMB on the call? *6 to unmute yourself.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning. Could you please state your name into the record?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the RDC committee. My name is Darlene Sam. I'm the Senior Budget Analyst here at OMB. I am online to present the OMB report, just what we have available.
Ms. Sam, for joining our Resources and Development Committee. We do have Division of Economic Development here present in the conference room, and per the new budget meetings procedures, Office of Management and Budget shall present a simple budget summary for the division. So at this time, before we yield the floor over to Division of Economic Development, we'll go ahead and yield the floor over to them, right? OMB.
Yes.
So at this time, Ms. Sam, you do have the floor. Honorable Ms. Simpson?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the RDC, thank you. That day, Darlene, Sam Cat from OMB, what you stated, OMB can give you information what you have available. Do you have all the information that needs to be presented to Resource Development Committee here? You just stated what's available, that you'll present that.
Kia Honorable Danny Simpson. So, Ms. Sam, a question was, posed here in regards to the division, overall program budget. I know that there's several divisions under Division of Economic Development, along with overview of the current, status of the Form 2 performance. So, I'd like to go ahead and yield the floor over to you for a response to Honorable Simpson.
Okay, am I unmuted? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you. Oh.
Okay, Madam Chair, members of the RDC committee, hello, Mr. Danny Simpson. What I meant by what information I have available, within OMB, there's 3 sections. The budget section, we usually present the numbers, the budget numbers, and then the expenditure reports. And then there's another section within OMB, management policy section. They present information on the budget form 2, the performance information, and so forth, the plan of operation, conditions of appropriations. That's what they present. And then the last section is contracts and grants section. They provide information on the external funds. So I have my information, budget section, the proposed budget and so forth, recommended by the President Nygren. I have that information, and then the expenditure report. I did send the report to Rodney, but it does not contain the management and policy section information on the budget form 2, but I just now received it, so I can just forward that email to Rodney. But the third information is the external. There's been the way the budget instructions manual was approved, we were originally informed that external funds doesn't need to be reported, but things are changing. That's one of the reasons our reports are not ready. So I believe DED is the first one up, so it's kind of like you're going to get it in pieces, if anything. But the important part is the budget information. You have it there, and then Janet McCabe will be presenting the performance information. So the way that I see it, we can proceed with what we have, just waiting on external, if there's any to be reported for DED, Madam Chair.
Ms. Sam, I'd like to yield the floor back over to Honorable Simpson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members RDC, thank you. I know OB is lacking staff, and when it comes to comprehensive budget, it takes a lot of work, down for my colleagues here, down to our divisions, down to everybody, OB, controller. It takes a lot of work, and I understand not having all the information today from OB kind of puts us in a situation where we're not complying with the rules, the policy procedures are in place for us to follow. So I know OB, maybe we can give until maybe today, hopefully have all the information for us for till tomorrow. Would it be possible? I asked my caller today the time, maybe give me 2 hours. Is it complete? So I'm just throwing that out there. If not, they can't get all the information for resource development to consider legislation. We'll see option. If they can get all the information in 2 hours, that's fine. But they can't, maybe we can research for a day. But this is throwing this out there to the committee here.
Of course,
colleague.
Honorable Simpson. So, Ms. Sam, I know that to make quantifiable judgment on behalf of what is proposed here before us, for every division that's going to be coming before Resources and Development Committee, we would like to know the new appropriations for the current upcoming fiscal year, and then the expenditure pattern. What was the trend for FY 2023? And right now, you also mentioned that there's a management and policy department with OMB as well. So in order for a smooth dialogue and a report from Office of Management and Budget, I would like to request how long it's going to take Office of Management and Budget to have, all this information readily available, at one time rather than piecing everything together. Because as Resources Development Committee, we do have Division of Economic Development present here. And, in regards to their, new, budget year, FY 2024 dialogue, will the, department have all this information readily available by 1 o'clock this afternoon? If not, then, we're just gonna have to recess in hopes that OMB has everything available and reconvene till tomorrow. So I'd like to go ahead and yield the floor back over to you, Ms. Sam, for a response. Ms. Sam?
Okay, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, I was just consulting with my other coworkers. Just to let the committee know, budget section, we're really understaffed. There's only 2 of us trying to tackle all these divisions. We have a new hire, so we're also in training mode for that. And I was hoping Mr. Bial is on the line. He's away from his desk, but maybe at the other section, if he's available, he would be the person to answer your question. But in consulting with my coworkers here, we were saying we need the whole day because we have different divisions. I only have economic development, natural resources, and INDOT, and there's other individuals that are assigned to community, gaming, and EPA. I don't know how long it will take them to do their reports, but just in consultation here, we were saying it would be good to have the whole day to prepare, like Madam Chair said, instead of piecemealing it. Madam Chair, that's my response. Dominic, are you on the line?
Mr. Bial, I tried calling the office. Apparently he is in a meeting right now. So with that, members of Resources and Development Committee, Shinat Anino Sinigi, Kude Eya Bakers Honda do Kojon Ada as of yet. A Koko Kododa Office of Management and Budget Staff, that's about the DT, what the Division of Economic Development is Bendo Ye Chesahado Asigi E Arjun Linigi O Kodosni. So I just need a consensus from members of Resources and Development Committee due to the understaffing, number one, with Office of Management and Budget team, and not having all of the information readily available to share with Resources and Development Committee. I would like to recommend recess for the rest of the day. Shania Honorable Nez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Honorable members of the Resource and Development Committee, staff, as well as Division of Economic Development, under the Rule 6 of our budget meetings, after a budget legislation is in motion, Nela, that's when OMB shall present a simple budget summary. Now, perhaps OMB could answer my question here, Madam Chair. Which one of these legislations that we have on the agenda are they ready to present a report on?
So with that, Mr. Tahi.
Madam Chair, members of RDC, before OMB answers that question, I just want to highlight that only 2 legislations are available for action today because they underwent the 5-day comment period. That is legislation 0164-23, which is Division of Economic Development, and legislation number 0165-23, which is Division of Community Development. The remaining offices, Navajo Nation Gaming Regulatory Office, Navajo Environmental Protection Agency, Natural Resources Unit, and Department of Division of Transportation, they're not ready for action until tomorrow. So we only can take action on 2 items. As Ms. Sam did indicate, she only has economic development. Someone else within their department has the Division of Community Development. So my recommendation is that we recess for the day then, because all of this is not ready And OMB did indicate, which I've shared with Ms. Khan, and I indicated with, Ms. Barbroff and Ms. Quinn, that OMB did indicate that they weren't ready. They did indicate by email today they were ready, but unfortunately, seems like that was incorrect information.
Negotiate, Mr. Tahi. So, with that, it goes parallel with the legislation and per the new procedures. So, I just wanted to get a consensus that we'd like to go ahead and just recess for the day and allow Office of Management and Budget, Ms. Sam, to compile the information for legislation 0164-23. And, Ms. Sam, who is the other staff within OMB that is going to be addressing Division of Community Development?
Madam Chair?
You do have the floor, Ms. Sam.
Okay. Madam Chair, members of the committee, the other assigned analyst for Division of Community Development is Nanette Francisco. So let me have her get on the line. One moment.
Madam Chair and members of the committee, this is Nanette Francisco, Senior Budget Analyst.
Yate Benemis Francisco. So, again, legislation 165-23 is the overall FY24 budget for Division of Community Development. And again, as you may have listened, thus far, since this week, Resources and Development Committee had a lot of time for budget meetings for the divisions that we have oversight over. Would you be able to provide the budget information that would have to be shared by Office of Management and Budget to Resources and Development Committee tomorrow for Division of Community Development?
Yes, tomorrow will be fine.
Yeah, Ms. Francisco. So with that, members of Resources and Development Committee, Ms. Sam and Ms. Francisco with OMB still do need extra time, again, due to the understaffing, and I do commend, the team there at OMB with the amount of workload that they have. Give them today so that tomorrow we can start at 9 a.m. to go directly into the budget meetings that we're going to have with Division of Economic Development, and Division of Community Development. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and request with a consensus by the members of RDC if we can go ahead and recess for the rest of the day.
Do we need a motion?
Yeah. So, motion,
Go ahead.
Honorable, recess for the rest of the day, motion by Honorable Danny Simpson and second by Honorable, Ness.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to go ahead and second that we also provide Division of Economic Development to review all their documents, make sure their signatures are in place, the dates are in place, and the documents are not inchoate. So, thank you.
There is that review that, DED needs to make before coming to the meeting here tomorrow. So I don't share the sheet on the city department managers and also division director, Mr. Skorlunis, for the recess. So Ms. Khan?
Yes, just to expedite the matters, and tomorrow, if there are any amendments, documents that have to be switched out, please let Mr. Tahi know so that the Office of Legislative Counsel will have the language ready for those amendments to be done in a quick fashion. Okay.
Yeah. So, since you're second on the agenda, so if any, with what the recommendation that was given by legal counsel. So with that, we do have a motion and a second on the floor to recess for the rest of the day, and reconvene tomorrow and allowing OMB to come up with all the pertinent documents that will give a good understanding for Resources and Development Committee to make, rational, discussion and, decisions for division's, budget. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and take a roll call vote for the motion and the second party for recess.
Madam Chair, members of RDC, this is roll call vote for recess for the rest of the day and reconvening tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Honorable Sana Enclaw, how do you vote?
I vote green.
Honorable Sana Enclaw votes green. Honorable Casey Ellen Johnson, how do you vote?
Vice Chair Casey Johnson votes green.
Honorable Casey Ellen Johnson votes green. Honorable Rick Nez, how do you vote?
Delegate Rick Nez votes green.
Honorable Rick Nez votes green. Honorable Danny Simpson, how do you vote?
Agree.
Honorable Danny Simpson votes green. Honorable Otto So, how do you vote? Honorable Otto So, how do you vote? Madam Chair, that's 4 in favor, 0 opposed, and Madam Chair not voting.
Fugoshi? So with that, members of Resources and Development Committee, motion does carry to recess for the rest of the day, and we will reconvene tomorrow morning, same location at 9 a.m. So, Otto Shahat, Division of Economic Development staff, for being so patient with us.